Welcome to Tech Talks. In this video, we shall look at measurements of dispersion, that is, we shall look at percentile and quartiles. In previous videos, we looked at variance and standard deviation. So in this video, we shall look at percentile and quartiles. So we start with percentile. Percentile, this is the value that divides a given value of distribution into 100 equal parts. Value of distribution that we divide a given value into 100 equal parts. We have percentile P1, which is the first percentile, P2, you can even up to P10, which is the 10th percentile, up to P90, which is the 90th percentile, up to, let me say, P99. When you have P1, this one means it is the first percentile. Then let us say P9, P10, it reads as the 10th percentile, and the P90 also reads the 90th percentile. So we are going to go through one formula for calculating, or one general formula for calculating percentile. We will be changing according to which percentile which they have told you to calculate. So let me use the reference, like maybe you are being asked to calculate the 60th percentile. So when you are told to calculate the 60th percentile, this one, you use this formula below. The first step you need to do, the first step when you are calculating that 60th percentile, you need to identify the 60th percentile class. How do you identify this class of 60th percentile? So you use this method of 60 is 60%. That one means it is 60 out of 100 times n. This n's value. This is the one which I identify for you, the 60th percentile. Where n is the same as summation of f. So after getting your summation of f, get the 60th percentile of that f, and then get the value. Read it from the cumulative frequency column, where you find that cumulative frequency is equal to or greater than that value. That frequency or the class within that cumulative frequency become your 60th percentile class. So after identifying that, our 60th percentile class or our 60th percentile is given by P90. I mean P60. P60 is defined by LB plus N, 60 out of 100 N minus cumulative frequency before divided by frequency within times C, where our LB is the lower class boundary of the 60th percentile class. After identifying this class, in that very class, that's where you get the LB, which is the lower class boundary. Then C FB is the cumulative frequency before that frequency which you have used for the 60th percentile class. Then FOW is the frequency within the 60th percentile class. Then we have our C. C is the class width of the 60th percentile class. So this is how you calculate the percentile. Once they tell you to calculate the 60th percentile, use this formula. So if they tell you to calculate the 90th percentile, now here instead of 90, instead of 30, we shall use 90. But all the formula remain the same and the working remain the same. And then you follow the procedures. Then after, let us look at what we are calling the quartiles. The quartiles, quartiles. These are values that divides a given value of distribution into 4 equal parts. And we start with the lower percentile, which is denoted by, so we have the lower percentile, the lower quartile, which is denoted as Q1. Q1, can call it Q1, and defined by Q1 equals to LB plus a quarter N minus cumulative frequency before divided by frequency within times C. So you also need here to first identify the lower quartile class by getting the a quarter of N C value, where N is the summation of F. So after identifying or getting the value of a quarter N, you go to the cumulative frequency column and then you read the value that is equal to that value which you have got here or greater than that. And that one, the value which you get is become your lower quartile class. And then after, that on reference or with reference to that class, you get these corresponding unknowns. The first one, LB, which is the lower class boundary of the lower quartile class. Then FFB is the cumulative frequency before. Then Our F is the cumulative frequency. I mean, our F is the frequency within. Is the frequency within. Our F is the frequency within that lower class which we have determined, and our C is the class interval. Class interval or class width of that lower quartile class. Then that's how you get the lower quartile. We also have what we call the upper quartile, which is denoted as Q3, and we defined it as Q3 equals to LB plus 3 out of 4 of N minus CFB out of frequency within times C. Similarly, to get these unknowns, you must first identify the value that is corresponding, or the value that is corresponding to that class of the upper quartile. You must first get 3 out of N, 3/4 of N. After identifying that value, then you go to cumulative frequency, identify that class. That's where you will get the lower class boundary of that class, and then you get the cumulative frequency before, and then you get the frequency within. Also, you obtain the class width of that boundary. Then after, you have the second quartile, which is Q2. This one is defined as semi-quartile. So it is just Q2, and if you want to get it, it is a half of the value, or a half of the quartiles. That is, you get it from a half of N. Then after getting a half of N's value, you substitute in your formula, you get the semi-quartile, which is the second quartile. But as far as quartiles is concerned, after getting the values of quartile, they can go ahead and ask you, find the interquartile range. Interquartile range is found by getting the values of upper quartile range, upper quartile, which is Q3 minus lower quartile. So our interquartile range become Q3 minus Q1. That one become our interquartile range. They can also go ahead and tell you, define or calculate the semi-interquartile range. From just so level circles, if you have a circle and they tell you to find a semicircle, it is just obvious that you get a half of that circle. Even this one is still standard. It's an interquartile range is a half of interquartile range. So a half of interquartile range, but we know interquartile range is given by Q3, which is the upper quartile, minus Q1, which is the lower quartile. So if you know how to calculate Q3 and how to calculate Q1, there you cannot fail to get the interquartile and semi-interquartile range. So that's how you calculate the percentile and the quartile. We'll meet in the next video.